Awesome. I think that diddly did it. I am officially live. I'm pretty sure. So that's cool. Don't look at the second monitor too much, that's what I'm learning. But yeah, we're gonna play some Stardew Valley today. Please let me know if you have any questions in the chat. And we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna turn on my third monitor. Awesome. So, just so everyone knows, this is my house. I'm at the start of winter on the second year. So Grandpa is a-comin' in a couple months, and I'm excited. Or in like a month, according to the lore in the wiki. We're gonna see if that's true, but you know, I'm excited for it. I got a lot of stuff. This is kind of like randomly floating around, but not a lot of money. I just finished up the community center like a little bit ago, so I think that's really cool. I'm stuck wearing this hideous red shirt because I have not figured out how to change that. I think it's something to do with the wizard, I know, but I need to go give him gifts. That's what these light solar essences are for. So I'm gonna do that in a second. But what's more important is I got myself a man crush on Sam. I'm trying to get him leveled up. I'm not gonna lie, I started this profile like kind of early into my transition, and I like maxed out Leah and Abigail pretty quick. Then I realized I wasn't into women as much as I thought, and here we are. So Sam is like the one I'm into most, I would say. I also kind of like Elliot, but he's a little bit of like an arrogant prick. I don't know how to say. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that word on the stream, so I won't do it again. But yeah, he's not my favorite. I like him. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like in love with him, you know. And I really like Sam. He's a sweetheart. Seems like he is kind of more down to earth. A little bit spoiled, but I feel like as long as you don't just like do everything for him and let him figure his own shit out, it's pretty chill. But that being said, I still gotta get Willie up as well. Got a bunch of these cactus fruit for Sam, because apparently he likes them. And got a couple of grapes for his little brother. It's because I'm trying to be a nice little family. I also baked his mom a bunch of crispy base. So I'm gonna bring with us too. Really at this point, like, I have all the money I need. I have like a max level farm. I already did the community center. Like, I'm really just working on relationships. So I had a pretty decent farm, I think. Pretty decently sized as well. Nice. What do you need? You need pizza, don't you? I need tomatoes. I do not have tomatoes. And I don't think I can really grow them right now in winter. Yeah, if any of y'all... The topic for tonight is mental health awareness, and I think it's super important, so if anyone wants to hop in with questions, comments, concerns. Always welcome constructive feedback, and just feedback in general. Got some good fruit trees going. I almost finished. Actually, no, I think I did finish the whole thing. I think I can do one more right here. It has to be 2 spaces away. Yeah, I think I can do one more fruit tree, but I'm almost done with those. Oh, my second apricot tree finished. Didn't even realize. So I got some fruits. I got pretty good amount of like farmstead stuff. I'm getting some sort of notification about like my encoder stuff, and I really don't know what it means. If any of y'all are more experienced with like interval encode, like keyframe intervals, I might have to look that up later. I don't think my stream is lagging. I can't really tell from my end, so I hope it's working for y'all. I have no idea how much stuff is in here. A lot. I really have not been like super like gung-ho about collecting my resources because I really don't even know what to spend my money on at this point. Like, you know, I could always get like better tools and stuff, but like what I need more than anything is iridium, and I just don't want to go mining. I don't. I need to do Mr. Key's challenge. I think that's probably a next step. I need to get more hardwood so I can get the boat to that like other island that Willy unlocks, but who knows? We'll see how it goes. I feel like I need another lamp. I don't know, I'm just getting that vibe. Egg is ready to hatch. See, as soon as I don't need it, I spent like literally like 2 weeks in real life trying to get a rabbit's foot. It was like an entire month, or like, no, it was like a couple months in game trying to get one of these to drop, and here's the second one. It's been like 3 days. But I will take it. I'll be grateful. I can trade it to the wizard. I know he likes them. Likes them eggs. Every time I hear the word egg, I just think of like little baby trans people. Nothing will ever change that. Okay. So yeah, I guess I'm just gonna go give gifts to people for like ever. I really don't know what to do. Like, I'm really just trying to like finish these relationships and like get to the point where my grandpa comes. So I have a lot of diamonds. Oh, how? Hello, friends. It's nice to meet everyone. Thank you so much, Meow. I don't know who you are, but I'm so grateful for this. It really means a lot. Well, just so y'all know, the topic tonight is mental health. I really think it's an important thing that not enough people put energy and effort into. So this is my attempt at some wholesome gaming and mental health Q&As. So if y'all have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. But this is Stardew Valley, and It is a very quiet, like, farming game, so. Well, thank you so much, Muriel. I really appreciate you. And feel free to stop by anytime. I'll definitely come check out your stream sometime too. It means a lot. Aw. I can try and put my voice up a little bit. I don't know how much I can do that because I think I already have my sound settings maxed, but I will try. Recordings. Bloop, bloop. I got it up 6%, so I hope that helps. Yeah. I really agree. Helping hands, like, I don't know. I feel like it's not touched on enough in every aspect of life. That I want to create a space where there's more media that really makes it a priority. So this is the best I can do for that. So hope y'all enjoy it. I love Spirit Fair. It is one of my favorite. I was actually thinking about streaming that this morning as well, but I decided on Stardew just because I have a little bit more time put into it. Aw, thank you, Robin. I appreciate you. And I think everyone has good and bad days. I think that's like kind of the journey of life. Like, I've been doing this video series on YouTube lately, and it's just one of those things like, I didn't realize, how much I had just been like pretending my bad days didn't exist, and, kind of just diving into, video games and media and my friends and family and just, distracting myself with whatever I could. And it's really been a huge, like, shift in my thinking and focus, just taking that time to be present with myself and create a space where I can feel like I'm taking the time to do the things that I need to recover when I am having a bad day, and just making myself feel good in little ways. Yeah, I definitely, I think I'm going to stream Spirit Fair later this week, so if y'all want to come back for that, I would very much appreciate the company. What do you mean by to savor the good days? I'm not sure by what you mean by that, Robin. Yeah, no, I really agree with that. Like, that's been one of the best things about my video series to me, is like I can actually go and look back and see like, oh, I was having a really bad day that day, but this is what I did to get through it, and like this is what worked and this is what didn't, and that's been like so hugely helpful to me, because like it's easy, it's so hard to tell yourself like, oh yeah, there's gonna be better days, but it's so much easier when you actually have that proof, like, look, I felt like this before and I'm okay, and it's gonna be okay, so. Oh, I'm really glad that you're enjoying it already, Helping Hands, and please feel free to vent, ask for advice, or do whatever you need to feel like you're at peace in your own body and, at peace with your soul. And I'm really glad I can give y'all a place to just have, a place to be. So. Aw, thank you, Mirao. You're one of my favorites already, and I appreciate you so much. Well, you are more than welcome to type your story if you want to, but I also understand that it's very hard to open yourself up like that, especially in front of people that, you're not really familiar with. And, just know that the option is there. You know, it's never too long of a story. I'm sure all of us, you know, are more than happy to go through that with you. And at least I can speak for myself. You know, I really, that's why this channel is here, to give people a place to vent and create that space. So take as much as you need. But I don't know how to pronounce that. I really, I went like blank, like really hard blank for a second. I'm like, can I get like an enunciation guide from someone in the chat, like who's more familiar? How do you pronounce it, Mirao? Aww, thank you. I feel bad for these slimes. I'm just getting my wood, going about my business. Aw. Well, I'm really sorry to hear that, Daniel. I know that having your personal space invaded is really a hard thing to recover from. I've never, you know, been like robbed in my own house, but I have had people in my life who have taken my sense of safety from me in my own space. And you know, I really do understand how hard it is to open up against, you know, up again after you feel like your personal space has been violated like that. Because it really, you know, when our like inner sanctuaries feel like they've been, you know, infiltrated, or like, you know, it feels like people have desecrated your temple, you know, you have, it's really hard to find the strength to sanctify that space and to cleanse yourself of that energy. It's something you actually, like in my experience, you really have to make the effort to go in and, you know, actually, you know, do the healing. And like that's one of the hardest things. Oop, he is asleep. Can't close your door, but here you go. I am a massage therapist. That pronunciation did not help at all. Mayfrau, is that... I'm so confused. I am like even more confused after reading that pronunciation. I need to like learn Danish or something, I think. Movrau. It's hard. Okay, at least it's not just me. But yeah, I really... Yeah, I don't know, I can't, as I said, you know, I haven't had that experience myself. The closest I can relate, I've experienced a lot of sexual trauma in my life, and you know, I had this one ex. Maeve or Rose would work as well. Okay, I can do Mev. I want to try and get it. Like, I feel like if I heard it like audio, like I could maybe understand it, but Mev roll out. I'm so I'm trying. I want to get this so bad. Yeah. I mean, honestly, you know, I don't mind talking about it anymore. It took me a long time to get to that point, though. Like, it was, you know, the first time I was sexually assaulted, I was 6 years old, and I literally was so traumatized by it that I completely blocked it out of my brain. And so, like, earlier this year, like, literally, it was like 25, or, you know, 20-something years that I just completely been unaware that this event happened, and, you know, I didn't realize how much, even subconsciously, it affected like every single one of my decisions. And like looking back at it now after going through all that healing and working through that with my therapist and everything, I really realized like every single one of my relationships, even with friends, it's like part of me was replaying that in a way and trying to make it all right. And I went after so many guys who really did not treat me well. And I think it kind of becomes like a self-repeating cycle, until you can actually go in and process that trauma and do that healing. And I've literally seen more growth for myself in this last year since I started processing everything than I did like the rest of my life. So like that's one thing I really want to reassure y'all about. Like if you are going through trauma right now, whether it's sexual trauma, whether it's emotional, whether it's just feeling unsafe in your environment, like once you do start doing the work, like you'd be surprised on how fast you can make the progress and how fast you can find yourself again. It's hard, and I do not blame anyone for needing to not be so present in it sometimes. Like sometimes you really have to distract yourself and use these things to get past, to get to a point where you can even start to process things in like a healthy way, because it's like this stuff hurts, and it can take years and years and years to like to start getting through this. And I really think that the best thing you can do is to just go at your own pace and to give yourself the space you need to grow authentically for yourself, and not try and compare yourself to other people, or try and you just fix everything overnight, or like, why can't I be okay? It's gonna take time to be okay, but you can do it. And the sooner you start, the easier it's gonna be, and the more quickly you're gonna get through it. So that's the best I can give you. I mean, I definitely, if you want to DM me, Daniel, feel free. It might take me a while to respond to that. I think I'm going to wait until the end of the stream to respond to any DMs I get. But I definitely don't mind talking about that with you if it's something you need to talk about. I understand it's really hard to find, people that you can talk about this kind of stuff with. So as much as I can do, I would love to be there. And, Robin, I really agree with you on that. Like, I really feel like therapy is there to help you, like, unpackage your stuff in the healthiest way possible. Like, I saw this one meme. It was, like, people, it was like a person in a room with a therapist, and, the therapist was, like, they had these knotted, like, tangles of yarn, and that's what was like their inner thoughts and everything. And the therapist was just like taking the yarn and like spinning it into like spools of yarn, to where it's more easily manageable. And like that's what therapy is to me. It's like you have all these crazy ideas and emotions, and you're just feeling so overwhelmed, and like everything's tangled up, and all that therapist does, a good therapist, all they're doing is giving you the space to start letting that out and organizing it into a place where you can feel more comfortable with yourself and the things that you're going through. So I think that's therapy is one of the most powerful tools that we have as humans for self-awareness and growth. And I just I really cannot advocate for proper mental health care enough. I really wish there was more focus on that in this country, just in terms of like making it important and giving people a space for that. is not really about me just a bit. I feel like if anything's eating you up emotionally, it involves you. And the best advice I can give you on that, Daniel, you know, do the best you can to take the precautions you feel are necessary, but at the same time, you can never control everything that's going to happen in your life, and there's always going to be risks. Like, every day you get into a car, you are more likely to die on the road than, like, almost anywhere else. And it's like, you know, I don't say that to scare you, but, you know, how many of us have died in car crashes? No one that's here, you know, and it happens and it's sad. But if you spend your entire life living in that fear, then you'll never be able to do anything else. And, you know, I really feel like fear can be so paralyzing, and it can make us feel like that's all there is, but you always have the ability to find that peace in yourself and to confront that fear in a way that lets you move past it. So if y'all have any like questions and stuff, I'm really enjoying this, so you know, feel free to ask away. You know, I've been doing a lot of work, as I said in my videos, about like, you know, just setting intention and, you know, setting self-care routines. And I feel like that's just so important. So if y'all have any questions about that, I would love to talk more about that as well. Finally had time to explore my gender identity and learned so many problems are layered. Finally, I could find solutions. You were so right about that, Robin. You know, it's like all those little things can just wind up and become something that's just so overwhelming. But, you know, I think the best thing you can do in that situation is remember, like, you got there in tiny little steps, so it's going to take a bunch of tiny little steps to get you out of it, you know? I think, Daniel, if you are creating a reality like that, if you're sure you know what's going to happen, then that's what's going to happen. But I think you 100% have the power to shape your reality and to do whatever you want. You know, so if you can change the way you talk to yourself and the way you look at, you know, how you have these conversations with yourself, you know, I really feel like that's the first step in creating a better world for yourself, where you're not, you know, so tied up in the things that are going on around you. You actually are taking that driver's seat. You're taking initiative and ownership of the things that you're doing, and, you know, the impact that you're having on the world around you. I mean, yeah, unfortunately, sometimes people don't listen, and, you know, all you can do is keep your side of the street as clean as possible. You know, if that means building a sturdier fence, or, like, you know, getting, you know, like, you having some sort of protection for your dog, where, you know, I don't know. I don't know the, you know, the potential solution to that, but I know that if you look into it, I'm sure something will appear, and that you will be able to find an answer where you're not hurting another creature, but you're also protecting the things that you care about. I think that's one of the hardest things in life to do, is to learn how to take care of yourself, and to fill all of your needs without taking away from other people, and without making other people feel like they don't have a safe space to express their own thing, their own needs. I agree with that so much, Robin. You know, it's like, we're so focused on simplifying things and making them, like, easy to understand, that we just, like, forget that life is just so terribly complicated, and that there's never, you know, a black and white. It's always like shades of gray. And, you know, there is no right, there is no wrong. There's just what makes you feel good and what makes you feel bad, and what makes you feel like fulfilled and like you're doing what you want to be doing, and what makes you feel like you're not doing what you want, you know? And I think when you look at it in that light, you know, things seem a lot less scary. Just dominate and subdue. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty out of left field helping hand. But yeah, I mean, I think there is a value in like showing that you're confident and, you know, not letting people walk all over you. But you also, you know, I feel like the whole alpha mentality is like really silly, and even the people who created it are like, no, this isn't true. This doesn't happen in nature. Why, like, stop doing this. Like, I'm sorry. And, you know, like, I feel like everyone is fluid, even animals, you know, like, everything is just so fluid. Like, to say that you are the alpha, like, everyone's gonna be an alpha at some point. Everyone's gonna be, you know, beta, gamma, whatever, you know, different things. Like, everyone moves through those things fluidly in different situations. It's like, you can be an alpha in one situation and a beta in another, and it's like, you know, like, yeah, there are those dynamics that exist, but it's like, you know, people and animals, they move through them so fluidly that you can't really, you know, overly simplify it like that. I really don't, you know, I really do believe. Oh, I gave her 2? When did that happen? Okay, well. I think Willie needs some gifts. I just feel like if that dog is a danger to other people and, you know, it's not being addressed by the people who are responsible for that animal, you know, all you can do is do the best you can to make sure that you're protected, and, you know, doing the best that you can to not, you know, let that negatively impact you, you know. It's just like, there are always going to be people who want to, who feel like they need to hurt other people, you know, but like, I really don't feel like the solution is to, like, you know, just go around with a gun just like ready to kill anyone. It's like, you really, I mean, maybe it is, I don't know, but yeah, like, you know, it's like, violence never solves violence, and, you know, nothing that you can do short of being violent towards someone else is going to make you feel like you can never get to a place that you feel safe by hurting other people, you know. I think that's the real message I want to get to, you know. And you can never, like, if you have that mentality where hurting other people is even a viable option, it's always gonna weigh on you negatively, I think. Thank you, Mev. I really am so grateful for you and you rating me and all your positive comments and everything, and, like, seriously and genuinely, it means so much. Like, please come by anytime. You have my heart. You know, much love to you, Mev. Always. Yeah, if any of y'all are interested, I'm also doing a daily YouTube video series, so if y'all want to find me on YouTube, I think it's just my name. I might need to change that if I'm going this viral, but yeah, let me make sure what my channel is real quick. I don't know if I changed the name of it. I might have. Yeah, it's just Jessica Eichler, so feel free to find me on there. Yeah. It's all of my topics involve like mental health and just like positivity and trying to manifest growth in your life. So if you like the things I'm talking about here, then I definitely, urge you to check it out. I'm gonna find you on Twitch right now and add you. Was that your Twitch ID or what was that, Mev? Because I don't see you on Twitch under that. Also, you don't need to give stuff too. I'm out of flowers, which is a problem. I might actually try and buy some back in the store. I am running from, I'm running on Restream, so I'm actually streaming to like 3 different platforms at once right now. So I actually, it's not, what I'm looking at right now is not the Twitch page. I could maybe try and find it under my, hold on. Oop, not mean to do that. Why is it saying, oh, I'm streaming Spiritfarer on my thing. Whoops. That was what I streamed last time. That makes a lot of sense why y'all are asking about Spiritfarer then. I understand. But let me go to my channel. Why y'all are asking about Spiritfarer then. I understand. And now I can click on your name. My YouTube name is Jessica Eichler, Eichler, first name pretty much as it sounds. But yeah, I just added you, so there we go. Oh, it was so nice meeting you, Daniel. I'm really glad that you felt safe enough to talk about that stuff in this chat, and I really hope that you got some sort of healing from that and some relief and all that good stuff. Yeah, I can definitely, if you want, I'll actually type my YouTube name in the chat. I'll link it in the chat, actually. I think that might be the best. Give me 1 second, I forgot how to do this. Someone help, please. How do I get my YouTube channel? I don't know if this is like the right link. Alright, I'm just gonna link one of my videos because I know how to do that. And then y'all can find it from there, I'm pretty sure. Probably should, yeah, I'm gonna do that on this one as well. Awesome. So that should be that. Thank you all for the help. I appreciate it. I'm not super tech. Well, okay. It's weird. Like I used to work in like computer science and all that kind of stuff, but I still have issues like figuring out YouTube. I feel for my parents. They're old selves. I don't know how they do it. Awesome, thank you. I'm gonna save that just for later. I really appreciate that. Yeah. I honestly don't know what to do right now, like, besides just give people gifts. And I'm already, like, out of, think of Harvey a gift. I need flowers, that's what I was gonna do. I think I'm gonna go check the store. You know, your name does fit you very much, helping. So, I definitely have that problem too, Robin. I actually do love Guitar Hero, by the way. Side topic. Used to be able to play like everything on Expert, even through the Fire and Flames. No life. I actually have a guitar back there. Might actually play it in a little bit for y'all if you play your cards right. But so yeah, Robin, I definitely can relate to what you're expressing. As a trans woman, I definitely understand what it's like to get super, honestly, like, I know people make fun of the word triggered these days, but, like, I feel like I actually get, like anxiety and, like, PTSD triggers from, you know, a lot of things with gender-related conversations with people who just don't get it. The best advice I can do is if you're really like feeling like you're struggling so much in those situations, just don't put yourself in the situations, you know? Like, I really cut out so much media from my life, and you know, I don't do a lot of the things that I used to, just because I realized that the situations they put me in made me uncomfortable. And it wasn't like, you know, it's not like I'm sacrificing anything I'm passionate about or anything, because, you know, fuck that. I'm going to do the things I love about, and if people have an issue with that, they can, you know, suck a titty. But aside from that, you know, it's like I'm very careful about what social spaces that I choose to put myself into. And, you know, I really feel like, you know, it's okay to just not want to have those conversations and to just not be a part of it, and to just let yourself have the space to you know, disconnect from that, and to just, you know, enjoy your own presence and your own company. You know, that's really the best I can give you, because once you start to be okay with yourself, and, you know, you're not feeling like you need that social interaction, you can really be a lot more careful about what kind of energy you're bringing into your space, and just surrounding yourself with things that, you know, bring you that positive affirmations and that love that you need. You know, it really helps me not get so weighed down when I do get hit with something negative. So yeah, that's, I would say, the best advice I can give you. I get that, you know, and that's the hard thing. You know, when you do feel like you're gaining strength from it, and it is something that, you know, is helping you grow, but you have those people that are just, you know, really shitty. And in those circumstances, I'd maybe try and see, you know, if there's other people in the group who have your back, you know, maybe try and approach it from that, you know, that kind of perspective where you are, like you have that community and they have your back, and if someone says something that's really triggering, they should have your back and stand up for you. And if they don't, then it doesn't matter how much strength you get from that space, that's not the right space for you, because people, like, I need to pause for this. Like, people really, like, they will tear you down and they will make you feel like shit. And if you don't have at least one place where you know that the people there have your back, it is so hard to find a leg to stand on. And I really urge you to not accept anything less than spaces that make you feel like you're loved and cherished. Because you deserve that. You really deserve that. And you can find it, and you will find it. And I settled for less for so long, but you deserve that. And the more you say that that kind of behavior is okay, the more it's gonna repeat itself in your life. It's all about saying, hey, this is a boundary for me. You're crossing that boundary and I need it to stop. And if the people around you can't see that and support that and understand you in that, then, you gotta find people. I'm not saying just, don't talk to anyone, but make space for the people who actually will stand up for you. Because if you're constantly surrounding yourself with people who don't, then the people who will never find you. Anyone who's asking for like my DM information or Discord information, if you send me a DM at the end of the session, I will definitely add you to my Discord, and I'll get everyone added and all that kind of stuff. I just don't want to take a break in the middle of the stream to do it. So yeah, just DM me if that's something that you want to be a part of. I don't mind adding people on YouTube, all that kind of stuff as well. So just feel free to message me with anything that, I can't address in the space of this stream. And I will definitely address it when I have time after the end of this and have more space to relax and decompress and do all of those things. But honestly, yeah, hiding from my parents was like one of the most painful things I've ever had to deal with, and I'm really glad we can give you a space to be yourself until you can do that all the time, because that's like the hardest thing. It's really so hard when the people who are supposed to be supporting and caring for you don't even recognize you as authentic. That's like the most painful thing that you can go with. But if I can give you some hope on that, when I first transitioned like 4 years ago, my parents straight up kicked me out of the house, and we have gotten so much closer. Like, we have gotten closer than I ever was before I transitioned, and it took years. Like, my dad literally didn't even look at me like since I transitioned until like the last year. It was like 3 years. He couldn't even make eye contact. But then like, the more I started growing and giving myself that space, and I started my career as a massage therapist, and just them seeing that I'm doing the things I need to do to take care of myself, and that I don't need their support, even though I'm so grateful for the support they do give me. Like, I have been able to make it, and I think the real thing that they were afraid of is like they just wanted to know that I was gonna be all right. And there's so many trans people, especially in the generation before us, who just were not all right. And it was through no fault of their own. It was just society made sure that they were not all right. And, I think them seeing that really made them scared for me. And seeing me in a place where I am doing the things has made them feel a lot more comfortable and safe and secure, and feel like they can connect to me again. So that's been a really beautiful thing for me. I'm really glad. I'm really grateful for having that experience. Animals are way more real than people sometimes. The thing is, though, we're all animals, and we have the capacity to be authentic. It's just something we have to relearn. I like to think and say that I've spent like the first 18 years of my life completely forgetting who I was, and now I'm actually going back and like trying to relearn who I really am. And I think it's been a beautiful process to discover who I actually am and what I actually want versus the things that I've been told my whole life. Just throwing this out there, just me. If you're still having dysphoria, if it's something that you've been thinking about for years, or like you're still regretting, it's never too late. Like, I know people who are like 60, 70 and they're just now starting their transitions, and like that's completely okay. Like, there is no timeline for this. Like, I promise you that even 1 year as, your authentic self is worth 20 years, of the pain and misery of not being able to be yourself. And, I can't stress enough that, there is no such thing. As long as you're still alive, you still have time. Like, I think that's one of my favorite things, my favorite sayings. I really and truly believe that, as long as you still have air in your lungs, as long as you're still kicking, there's an infinite amount of possibility. And, you can do so much in such a short time. Like, this last year has been one of the most defining of my entire life, and it's only been a year, and I've done more in that time than I did probably the rest of my life. And, it's not about the length of time, it's about the quality. That's the real thing I can stress to you. And transitioning for me has given me such a better quality of life. It's not like the be all end all. It didn't solve all my problems, don't get me wrong, but it helped me start to heal. It put me in a place where I finally knew what I wanted, and like, let me tell you, if you don't know what you want, like, getting there is impossible. Like, you will never be able to get somewhere that you don't know where you're going. You'll just walk in circles forever, and like, I really feel like it's just so worth it to know who I am and where I'm going and, what I want, that I wouldn't trade anything for that. A lot of things are not permanent. I agree with that. There are a lot of changes at the very start of hormones that are, like, the first couple months, most things are reversible. Like, you might have a little bit of, breast growth that doesn't go away or anything, but it's like, most of the time, it's, if you do detransition, it's not even noticeable. And I know people who have like gone back and forth and transitioned and detransitioned like 5 times before they finally decided that they wanted to. Because let me be honest, it's the hardest thing I have ever done in my entire life. Like, being trans is really, really hard because people treat you differently. They just do. And it sucks and it's unfair. But I've definitely gotten better coping skills through the whole thing, and I really feel like I'm so much stronger of a person because of the challenges that I went through. That it's worth it to me to have gone through all of that. And, it's one of the hardest things you can do, but also one of the most rewarding. So just, I know a lot of people who started and then realized how much, like, how painful it is, and they stop, and that's okay too, but, just giving yourself that opportunity to have that space to be authentic, it's just, there's nothing like that experience. And you know, I know people who've started, as I said, I know people who've started this off like 4 times and then ended up, you know, continuing on the hormones, because, you know, even through all that pain, it's still so much less painful to be yourself. Like, you know, you can, because people will always hate on you for something, you know, so even though you're dealing with more hate, like, in general, it feels so much easier to handle once you know who you are and what you deserve. And you know, it's a struggle, don't get me wrong, but I think it's worth it, you know, I really do. That's so exciting though, Robin. Oh my god. That's so, like, I'm happy early transiversary. Like, that's so cool. That's a really big milestone. And I still, like, I remember and have pictures of the first day I started, and it just like, it was this light bulb, and it was like, oh no, this makes sense. And like, this is, it was just like this moment of just like, yeah, this is me and I'm doing something about it. And that was just really cool. I really agree with that too, helping. Yeah, it's like, you know, because I felt like, you know, a freak and like an outsider my whole life, even before I transitioned. So if I'm already gonna feel like people don't want to hang out with me, I might as well be comfortable in my own skin, you know? I first have passed the gatekeeping couple talks. A lot faster than 2 years waiting. You know, I think, okay, so just so you know, Robin, there are a bunch of options for hormones that aren't going through your traditional, like, gender endo or primary care physician or any of that. You know, you can have, there are teledocs where you can go online and you can get your medications delivered to you. You can have webcam sessions with these actual doctors who actually do blood results and like all this kind of stuff. I forgot the website, but there's literally a website that's specifically for like trans healthcare that does just that, and it's an amazing thing. It's a little bit more expensive than going to a doctor if you have insurance, but it's still cheaper than going to a doctor if you don't have insurance. So I think it's a wonderful option, and they do it on informed consent. So you just tell them what you want and they give it to you. You know, you tell them what you want and that you know the side effects and all the things that are going to happen, and you can make that informed decision. And as long as you don't have, if you do have pre-existing things like schizophrenia or something, they might still want you to go. Just make sure that you're in a clear state of mind. But aside from that, it's like almost it's completely informed consent. If you can prove to them that you know what's happening, you know what's going on, and that you know what you want to do, they'll do it for you. And they're, I really feel like that's how it should be everywhere. But me personally, I went through like 4 or 5 different, gender endos before I finally found one that I was comfortable with, and that gave me a regimen that I was comfortable with. So even though there is a lot of gatekeeping, I really do believe that it's possible to get around that in a variety of different ways. You can play squirrels. Just so you know, just me. I live in Georgia, which is the middle of like, like, I don't want to curse on stream, so I'm not gonna say what I was thinking, but it's like cousin loving, good times, and very like yeehaw, let's go kill the gays, so like I get it, but even here in Georgia, like, there are resources and there are communities, and I had to go look for them. But once I started to looking for them, I was so surprised at how many of them were actually there. But okay, so here's the thing, Robin. You don't actually have to. Like, okay, so even though informed consent isn't legal in the Netherlands, if you find a doctor who's from outside of the Netherlands, like through the teledoc kind of stuff, they don't actually need to be in your country to write you a prescription. And that doctor prescription is good, pretty much anywhere in the world. I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, but I'm like 90% sure you can take a prescription from one country and get it filled in another, as long as, there's I think there are some things you have to do with that, but I'm pretty sure it's possible. So I just wouldn't sell yourself short on that. And even without that, there are, I do know this one trans girl named Lena who actually manufactures her own estradiol, and she sells it online over the counter, because technically estradiol, which is all you really need to transition, and progesterone if you want to have good mental health, in my opinion. But estradiol will do the physical stuff by itself. It's not a prescription medication, and it's in the 17 beta estradiol itself is not a prescription. It is naturally occurring in your body. They can't patent it, and they can't make it a prescription because there's no lethal dosage on it, at least in America. So you can make and sell and order estradiol online. You can even get it on Amazon. But the thing is, what makes it a prescription is they'll make it into different ethers that are more easily absorbable by your body in different formats. But you can literally just go online. There's this, if you look up Lena estradiol valerate, you'll find her online. It's not, she does, make it herself. It's not a medical grade product, but there's like hundreds, if not thousands, of trans women who are using this stuff, and I've never really heard anything bad about it. So there's always options. I just really want to let you know. But yeah, Mev, I would love to add you on Discord. As I said, just send me a DM on Twitch, and I'll add everyone who DMs me to whatever formats that they want that I have. I'm not gonna make a Snapchat or anything, but if y'all want to add me, just please send me a DM, and I'll add everyone at the end of my stream. I'm probably gonna be wrapping up in around 45 minutes, so yeah. Aw, thank you so much. You're totally fine. I very much love and appreciate compliments. I don't think it's weird at all. I think everyone should compliment each other more often. I think the world would be a much better place if we all did. But yeah, I've spent a lot of time and a lot of money on vocal lessons, and I'm trans, obviously, but I really feel like it's so important just for people to know that vocal training exists, and that it is so very possible for you to sound like this, and it's just about the way you train your voice. And if you're ever looking for recommendations on voice therapists, I actually worked with one who is transgender herself, and she started up this entire company by herself. It's amazing. It's called True Voice Lessons by Anna Freya, ANNA FREYA. She's an amazing person. She's super supportive, super caring. She's trans woman, trans mama herself, and she is such a blessing to this community. So the more I can advocate for her and the work that she does, the more I will, because it has helped me so much in my life just to feel comfortable in my own skin. But I definitely I watched stuff on vocal lessons before I did the vocal training, and it definitely helped, but at the same time I still didn't feel like I was 100% getting what I needed. And having that person who can really like look at your individual voice and what you individually are struggling with, it brings such a different level to it. And when they can tailor a lesson plan to help you train certain aspects of your voice to because that's the thing, is I can even talk in like a super low pitch and I think I still sound pretty feminine. You know, it's just the way you enunciate, and it's training your brain to not identify as much with the pitch of the thing, which is a very, like, you know, wait, you're not identifying. Okay, so males talk, they emphasize a lot more with the volume, and it's all about just using like the elegance of your voice to emphasize things with pitch instead. And you know, it's not about talking in a super high pitch, it's just about learning how to use that pitch in a way that helps you enunciate, you know, things a little bit better. That's one of my favorite words to practice on, by the way. Enunciate. I would love that help, Robin. Please and thank you. That would mean so much to me. I really have no idea what I'm doing with this stuff, so please, please. But, aw, Mev, it was so nice to meet you, though. It was amazing, and I'm so grateful for your company and for this raid and for the amazing conversations that we got to have. So please, 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 please DM me, and I will message you on Discord as soon as I'm off the stream and in a more settled place. But I very much enjoyed like hanging out and just vibing. So thank you for joining me tonight. It means a lot. Everyone needs sleep. It is one of the most important things. I'm not gonna lie, back when I was younger, I used to be like really into the druggists, los druggists, and I would go like weeks without like sleeping and everything, and I just looked so like burned down and like worn out and just like fried and like no energy all the time. And like, I just looking back on myself and just like seeing how unhealthy I was, I'm like, how did I actually do that and not like just have a stroke or something? You know, sleep is necessary, but it's not always easy, and I can feel that. The best advice I can give you on that is just like, you know, I normally try and do like some meditation before bed and just like give myself the space to like clear my mind and just like be in the moment. It's so much easier said than done, but let me tell you, once you have like, I had a couple nights where I was having like issues breathing, and like trying to fall asleep when you're not sure if you're gonna like stop breathing in the middle of your sleep is so anxiety inducing. I cannot like express that enough. It was like, but like after a certain point I just had to like get through it because I needed sleep, you know. And ever since I just haven't really had any issues, you know. It's like you go through the trauma and you learn how to handle it, and it's like, okay, now the rest of this is cake. Aww. Thank you, Mev. I really appreciate that. I feel like I'm just trying to be me, and this is what makes me comfy, and I'm just gonna keep on doing that. So I'm really glad y'all are vibing with it, because it makes me very happy to know that y'all enjoy me just being myself. So this is what I love doing, and I'm gonna keep on doing it, and I'm really glad that y'all are here with me. But I think I'm gonna play some guitar to end up the stream, because I have no idea what I'm even doing in Stardew right now. I just feel like I'm so engaged in the conversations, and I really don't even know what to do to start with. So I think I'm just gonna play some music. It's been fun. What do you think, chat? Should I play some guitar? Let me know if the volume's too loud for y'all. I'm not in tune. So thank you. I don't know what to play, but I'm gonna figure it out. I normally just kind of mess around with stuff, and I think I'm gonna play over some other stuff because I feel like soloing right now, and I don't have a loop station over here. Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna get content flags. Can I play music from other people on here? Can anyone tell me that? Like, could I play another song and then play guitar over it, or would I get flagged for content? I know a little bit of David Bowie stuff, but mostly vocals. As I said, I just kind of like play stuff. I really don't. I do a lot like on my own material. I really don't like memorizing songs. It just feels like kind of like stuck. Until I have around 150 followers, you can, and they will just mute your replays. Okay, so they'll just mute the ground control to major tom. Ground control to major tom. I'm trying to think of what I want to play. So I feel like the point of that is I'm not going to get banned for doing this. I'm going to try this. Let's see if it works. Okay. Is that volume okay for y'all?
play bass, so everything is 100% on guitar for me. Cool. Well, at least I'm not gonna get flagged. I'm kind of just enjoying vibing. But... Thank you for joining me. I'm really glad to have everyone out here. I'm really grateful for y'all being as positive and amazing as y'all have been. It really feels like, you know, a community already, and I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful to be sharing this time and space with y'all. So seriously, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I'm starting to sweat a little bit. I got my snacks and drinks right here, already pre-game. It is water. I'm staying nice and hydrated because I care about my body. I have been drinking alcohol. Well, I had a beer like a couple months ago at a bar with some of my friends, but I haven't drinking like hard liquor in a long time. It's been a couple of years. No judgments to anyone. I smoke lots of weed, so do that what it is. I just don't like the way alcohol affects me. I'm gonna be honest. It's never been my cup of tea. I got blackout drunk a couple times when I was younger, and it just wasn't my jam. I just feel sick and kind of like not present, you know. I smoke lots of weed, and it helps my anxiety a lot. I'll do some psychedelics every once in a while, but you know, for the most part, I just keep it natural. You know, nothing processed, nothing artificial. Just neat. think that's enough of that for now. Ah, there goes my phone. I'm gonna put this in an actual guitar stand. Oh, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. What? I turned it off.
Tu confonds le cœur et l'intérêt. Si tu veux jouer au compliment, fais-le plus fort que je le fais. Je t'ai tellement regardé sans rien dire. J'aurais pu compter tous tes atouts. Je voudrais m'en aller, mais j'ai rien à fuir. Je suis dans la peau comme un hématome. Qui sait séparer les gens
I think that was fun. We got like 15 minutes left before the end of the stream. What do y'all want to listen to? Or what do y'all want to talk about? How are y'all doing today? It's always important. Check in with y'all. I think these last 15 minutes are for y'all. So anything you want to talk about, anything you want to vent, anything you're feeling, anything you're, experiencing right now, feel free to add it into the chat. What you reading about right now, Robin? I know it must be interesting. Interessante. Tips and tricks for X? Like, I don't know if you're talking about like sex or like ecstasy, but either way, do tell. Like, please. Let me tell you, I used to be really addicted to ecstasy. For a long time, when I was in my rave days, it was like, I was doing like an 8-ball of ecstasy every other day. It was real bad. If you're gonna do that stuff, the best advice I can give you, and I'm by no means advocating for it, because it actually destroyed my life, just so you know. It was part of destroying it. It helped me destroy my life. Let me tell you. But vitamins A, C, and E, as well as 5-HTP, they will protect your brain from a lot of the damage that ecstasy does to it. It actually eats away at your dopamine receptors and turns them into little tiny bits of hydrogen peroxide, which is super great for your brain, let me tell you. What does this is, it's a process called oxidation. So the extra oxygen in your blood, it's what's called free radicals. There's just these extra little bits of oxygen when you're on amphetamines that amount increases. And what happens is they go into your brain and they hit your dopamine receptors, and it causes oxidation, which turns the actual dopamine receptors into hydrogen peroxide. It's a really bad process. It is extremely bad for your brain. It 100% affects your ability to absorb dopamine, which is literally the thing that makes you feel good. So every time you've ever felt pleasure, that was dopamine. And without it, life sucks, let me tell you. I spent years recovering from the damage I did to my brain. I don't know if I will ever fully recover on a physical level. You know, I think my brain has been adapting to overcome and adapt, but you can have potentially lifetime damage from that stuff. So that's just something really important to be in mind. The vitamins A, E, and C, and any kind of antioxidant will reduce the. No, don't apologize at all. This is an important topic that I think more people need to be aware of. But at the same time, those vitamins can reduce the damage, but they're not going to completely negate or, get rid of that damage that's happening. And you will always, anytime you're doing any amphetamine, you're going to have that some level of degradation of your dopamine receptors, which in my opinion is not a very good thing. However, I mean, if you're doing it like once a year, you're probably not going to notice the difference. But if you're doing it any kind of, repeat basis, you'll notice it so fast. And that's the thing, I don't think that ecstasy is a bad drug by any means. Even though I was really badly addicted to it and it really fucked up my life, I still don't think the drug itself is bad, because I know people who've used it to help recover from PTSD. And even when I was recovering from PTSD from a lot of the things that I did while I was on ecstasy, I ended up doing ecstasy and it really helped me get through that PTSD. So it's all about how you're using it as a tool and how you're able to moderate with it. And I think that there's certain sets and settings that are better. Like if you're going to rave and you're just going to have a good time, don't do fucking ecstasy. That is not the time for it. It makes you feel good, but the cost is not worth it. If you're healing from trauma, then maybe go buy yourself some ecstasy, because it really can help. But only do it in a way that's supporting your growth and your mental health, as opposed to just doing it for enjoyment. That's the biggest advice I can give. Same with like psychedelics, mushrooms, acid, all that kind of stuff. I definitely don't advocate for it. But at the same time, I really do believe that, that they're important medicines, and used in the right settings, that they can have tremendous benefits for everyone, and it's just, I think there needs to be more understanding and more research and more work done with them, so we can understand about how to properly use them, as opposed to just saying they're bad, get them away. No security at a theater, football stadium. Yeah, I mean, I saw, when I was at a rave, I saw 4 people overdose, and, I saw a couple people getting brought to the hospital. I've seen things that just make me go, I'm so glad I'm not living that life anymore. But at the same time, I also have used it in a therapeutic setting where it's tremendously benefited me. I don't like alcohol in general. I've never in my life felt like I've been in a position where I feel like drinking has genuinely improved the situation and my experience. Like, I'm sure for some people it does. That's fine. It's just not my cup of tea or my glass of wine, I look at drugs in any kind of sense, whether it's caffeine or alcohol or mushrooms or peyote, as how does this affect you, and what potential does it have for using it in a healing aspect? What medicinal potential does it have, and what harmful potential does it have? And for me, alcohol has never had medicinal potential. It's just been something that people use to not feel, which I guess, sometimes that can be medicinal, but it's like, it's really easy to overdo numbness, because life is so painful, and it's so easy to just not feel sometimes. I think that the more you experience joy and real love, the easier it gets to want to feel. But when you're trapped in that cycle of just being numb all the time, it's really hard to get out of that. But yeah, I just to me, and that's the thing is like when I was just using it recreationally, like I wasn't using it as a solution to my problems, but I was definitely just burying myself in whatever it took to not feel that problem. And when you're doing that with any substance, whether it's caffeine, whether it's alcohol, whether it's heroin, that's not going to end well. But at the same time, I know for a fact that doing that ecstasy that one time, like years later, was a therapeutically beneficial thing for me. Would I ever do it again? Probably not, because I used it to get through that trauma. I had the healing that I feel like I needed, and I don't want to be high on ecstasy all the time. It's just like, it was fun, not my cup of tea. I don't like destroying my brain, So I think as long as you're using it as a tool for growth and you're knowing how to moderate, that's the best you can do for it, I think, sometimes we need to have fun. Sometimes you need to go out and do your own thing. I would have never learned how much I didn't want to do ecstasy unless I had gone out there and done it. And I'm really glad I had that experience when I was like 18 and still relatively pliable and like able to bounce back from it than when I was 60 and, that shit would have killed me, For me, when I'm loosening my brakes on when I'm like drunk or something, I find that 9 out of 10 times that's a situation that I wouldn't have been in if I was sober. And almost every situation that's like that has not been good for me. It's like, yeah, I can get myself to a point where I'm comfortable and I have fun for that night, but then I end up around people who treat me less than how I deserve, and then I end up in situations where I feel like I'm being treated, I'm treating myself less than what I deserve. I'm putting myself in places where I'm afraid or I'm not comfortable because, I feel like I can handle it because of the alcohol, because I'm literally numb, and it's like, like it can help you be social at a bar, but do I really want to hang out with anyone who's at a bar every night? Like, probably not. They don't seem like happy people. At least in my experience, anyone who shows up to a bar more than like once a month even, like, I don't know, I'm sure there are people who just go and they have fun, they do like the karaoke and stuff. That's fine, but if you're going to a bar to drink and to meet people more than like once a month, like, okay, I shouldn't judge anyone. I don't know your journey. It's probably different than mine. For me, when I'm in that situation, I just feel like, what am I doing with my life? Like these are not the people that I want to be around. These are not the people that are bringing me joy. Like these are people who are trying to hold on to something that is long since passed. And that's just been my experience with it. So, if it works better for you, I really, I hope it does. And all I want is for people to be happy and healthy and enjoying their life. And if alcohol helps you do that, then I'm supportive of it. I've just never been in a position where I felt like it's helped me actually improve my life. Yeah, no, I mean, some of my best friends over the years, I think it really is important to know your limits and, know where you're comfortable at. You know, I really agree. You know, if you can't handle the potential side effects, don't do that. But you know, there's also a real truth. Like, most people don't realize how bad things are gonna be until they do it and they have that experience. And you know, I think I've seen so many of my friends literally die to addiction. You know, like shotguns in their mouths, you know, heroin overdoses. One of my best friends drowned in a river, you know, and that shit hurt. But at the same time, it's like, you know, I feel like any of them weren't doing their best, you know, and didn't know the risks that when they went into it? No, they did, you know, but they made that choice because they didn't see any better option. And I think the best thing we can do for people is not to shame people for what they're doing or how they choose to express themselves and try and be comfortable, but just to try and understand that, you know, most of the time when people are doing drugs of any sort, it's to try and feel okay. You know, it's just trying to externally put something into yourself to make yourself feel okay, which in my experience never works, but you know, it's a very like it works for a little bit, you know, and I feel like a lot of people, like, that's what they're going for. They just want the pain to not be there, and I think just understanding that has helped me on such a different level with connecting to people and understanding myself. No, you're totally fine, Robin. I'm actually really enjoying this conversation. I'm glad we got to finish it off on a strong note. I think this, as I said, I think this is an important conversation that needs to be had. And I'm very glad to be able to, you know, create a space where people feel comfortable enough talking about this stuff. Because if I had had someone to talk to when I was first going through my ecstasy stuff, I might have not gone through it so bad, you know? And like, please, anytime you're feeling like you're not sure about something or you don't understand, you know, something that you're thinking about doing, this is a safe space for that, and you're always welcome to come talk about it here. Like, you really are. I really do mean that. Like, I would much rather you come here and talk to me about it than to go through it blindly and not have any, like, you know, not have anyone with, like, sharing their experience with you and just being like, this is what didn't work for me, you know, because like going through it alone is so much harder. It really is. And yeah. Yeah, as I said, I've literally seen people die at raves. You know, there's this one bad batch of acid that went around once, and it was literally, I had bought drugs from this dude, like, earlier that night, you know, and, like, multiple people died from that stuff. Like, literally, I came this close to buying a chemical that would have killed me. And that was just like such a fucking shock to me. Like, it really was a huge part of snapping me out of it. Like, I've seen really horrible things, you know, like I really have, you know. I don't want you to think that I don't understand how nasty and how gritty addiction can be. It really can, and I've seen people do horrible things to satisfy their addiction. But at the same time, like, understanding where it comes from, and that, you know, they're just trying, like, they are so out of touch with reality because that's the only way they can handle it. And, you know, that makes me at least not feel so overwhelmed by seeing those things, and not taking it so horribly, and just, it's really easy to view humanity and yourself in a bad way when you don't understand why people are doing the things that they do. Because a lot of things seem really, really shitty on the surface. And, they still really are shitty when you look down, but at least, they make sense, and you can see why people got there and how they made those decisions, and that it's really not, as, I don't know, it just makes me feel like it's not as hard to process, and like, it gives me more hope in humanity, because I feel like, it's not people are intentionally being shitty, or, they don't care about other people. It's just they're suffering so much that they don't know how to. And it's like, I can definitely understand being in so much pain that you don't know how to show love. So like, that's a lot easier for me to accept than people just willingly hurting people. Because I don't think I've seen a single case where it's been that. It's been every single time. It's the only people that ever hurt other people are people who are hurting. And that's just like the most essential truth I found in life. And the more someone is an asshole and just hurtful, the more they're probably hurting themselves. And there's nothing you need to do to them, because they're already suffering worse than anything you can say. Yeah, I thought I knew everything when I first started getting into drugs, and, I thought I was such an expert that I did not, take any precautions. I did not have any kind of healthy approach to it. I just was like balls to the walls. Honestly, a lot of it was like, this is before I transitioned, and I was very depressed and just in pain all the time. And I realized, like, the first time I tried to kill myself, I was 13. And ever since then, like, up until the time I was, like, 18, it was like, I was just trying to die without other people knowing I had killed myself. And that was, like, such a huge light bulb for me when I finally realized that. Because, like, all the drugs I was doing, everything with that, it was like, I wanted to not be there. Like, and nothing I could do at the time, because, like, I didn't feel like, I felt so alone and isolated and not understood, and I didn't know how to enjoy anything, much let alone, my own presence and company. And I was so miserable with that I just wanted it to stop. I didn't care what I did, or, I tried to hurt people the least amount as possible, but, at the end of the day, like, I did whatever I needed to do to not feel. And that lasted for, like, 5 or 6 years, and it was just, all of my addiction came from a place of just wanting to not feel and just wanting to not, I don't think I ever wanted to die. I just was so sure that, like, there could not be anything more painful than this, that I didn't care what happened, I really just stopped caring. And, I'm so glad that I've taken the steps to heal from that, but it's such a horrible place to be. And it helps me, going through that helps me understand other people who are also in similar situations like that. Yeah, no, I really agree with that, Robin. Okay, all I'm saying is just me, like, I've seen events where where drugs were banned and people still ended up getting carried out on stretchers. You cannot ban a substance. You can't force anyone to take care of themselves. You can't. People are going to destroy themselves if they're in pain. And there is nothing you can do that can make their lives, like, there is no threat of justice. There's no anything that is more painful than what they're already going through. So you can't force them out of it because they're already in so much pain that anything you do to them is just like, you know, why does it fucking matter? You know, like, I'm just gonna get through this and I'm gonna go do more drugs because, like, yeah, I don't care anymore. So, like, literally, like, there's nothing anyone could have said to me when I was in the middle of my ecstasy binge that would have made me, like, just snap to and realize, like, oh, I'm not gonna do ecstasy, you know, except for actually hitting my bottom. And, like, I got caught by someone, like, I was in the middle of putting ecstasy up my ass because it got you higher that way. And someone walked into the bathroom and, like, caught me and, like, exposed me in front of everyone. And I was so mortified by that I didn't want to do that again. And, like, that was a decision that I had to make because something was finally worse than, like, the suffering I was going through with the drugs. But there was nothing anyone could have done to do that. Like, you know, I'd been arrested multiple times at that point. I'd been in jail. Like, none of that mattered, you know? It took me finally hitting a point where I don't want to do this anymore. I am in so much pain. Like, the drugs are making it worse now, and I don't want to do this anymore. You know, and I think that's the best thing you can do is give people a chance to turn around, you know. Okay, I mean, I would rather have someone know how to do it safely than have them die. Because I have multiple friends who have died from heroin because they didn't know how to do it safely. And if someone had just been there like, hey, you know, if you're gonna do it this way, they would still be here. And that's what I fight for, because, you know, you can't stop someone from doing what they want to do, but you can at least try and make sure that they're around long enough to learn their lesson and make the changes that will help them get out of that situation. Because if they're dead, they can't change shit. So I would much rather have them informing people about how to do it safely than have people die needlessly. Because no one's going to do a drug because they have information about it. If they were going to do that, they already decided that. The only thing you're doing with that is saving lives. Okay, I would much rather have my friends go through prolonged abuse and still have a chance at getting out of it. You know, if I had died the first time I did ecstasy, the second time I did ecstasy, I never would have made that change. I almost died 3 times in my life. I tried to kill myself the first time when I was 13. Thankfully, that failed. You know, when I was, like, I want to say like 17, I did like 35 hits of acid, completely unintentional. I thought I was doing like 10, and it was also not the chemical I thought it was, because I had shitty drug dealers back then, and I should have died from that. The lethal dosage on the chemical that I did was like 5 hits, and I did 35. And, like, you know, I don't know how I'm still here. But there are so many situations that, like, if I hadn't have had that opportunity, like, I'm just so grateful to be here. And I'm so grateful that I made it through enough of that to realize that. And, you know, eventually people do realize. Because if you go through enough pain, you do want to change. But if you die before you get there, then that's the end of the story. You know? And I know a lot of people who thought they were never going to change, and they did. And I think that's all we can do. Yeah, I think, you know, a huge point in that is, like, when you're fighting this war on drugs and you're criminalizing people for the way they behave, like I know so many people who've gotten through meth, and they're like, the worst part about being on meth was the way people treated you when they found out you were on meth. And I know so many people who, just because of the stigma that they carried and because they got associated with being a meth head, they felt like they could never change that. And that's what brought them back into the addiction more than the meth itself. Because every time they tried to get clean, people were just like, oh, you're just gonna always be a meth head. And they just treated them a certain way. And it's like, you know, if you keep on criminalizing people's behavior, you know, like, and treating them as less human for the way they act, you will never solve anything, and you're just creating even more of a problem, because you are literally disenfranchising people who are already so disenfranchised and so alone and disillusioned and in so much pain, you know. And like there was this experiment, there was this experiment, I don't know if you've ever heard about it. It was originally, okay, the first experiment was done in like the 70s, and they put these two rats in a cage, they put rats in cages, and they had two water bottles, one full of water and one full of heroin water. And they almost without fail, like almost every single rat, when they were locked in that cage with nothing to do and just bored out of their mind and miserable, they would drink that heroin water until they died. Like almost every single time. Like without fail. It was like incredible. But then they did the same experiment in like the early 90s, but instead of putting them alone and isolated in a cage, they made an entire rat city. And they filled it with like activities and little things to run around on, and other rats was like the big thing. They had plenty of socialization, and they put the same two water bottles, one full of water, one full of heroin water, and almost like there's literally almost no rats that would even go near the heroin water. And if they did, they would use a little bit and then be like, no, that's all I need, and then they would stop, and not a single one overdosed. And it's like such a stark comparison, you know. I just, like, it's not a problem of people being addicts, it's a problem of people feeling isolated and alone and in pain and having no stimulation and feeling like they will never get to a place where they have stimulation. And that's the problem we need to fix, not a war on drugs. But that's my soapbox. I will live and die on that one. I think it's so important to treat people with compassion no matter what choices they make, you know? And it's really hard to do that. But if you can step into other people's shoes, you are so much ahead of the game that I can't even express how important it is. But I think that's about all I have in me for tonight. It was a nice little 2-hour stream. I really enjoyed it. Please feel free to send me your names on through the DM on Twitch for the Discord stuff, or any other social media that you want to add me on. If I have it, I'll add you. I'm really not too picky about that kind of stuff. Except my Facebook, I'm a little bit more private about who I have on that one, just because I do share personal information on that. But aside from that, any other form of media, I'm pretty much an open book, and I'm so very glad to share this space and time with y'all. I'm gonna see. I'll definitely. Yeah, she invited me, so yeah, I'll go ahead and join that. But I very much enjoyed this, and I really am so thankful and appreciative for y'all spending this time and coming out here and just vibing with me and being present and having these conversations. So seriously, like from the bottom of my heart to the top of my soul, thank you. This is the best stream I've ever had, and I'm so grateful to have had this experience and to be here with y'all. Awesome. It was wonderful meeting y'all. Thank you for the compliments. Thank you for
the kind words and encouragement. I've been working too hard for too long to give up now. So I'm gonna keep on being strong, and I really appreciate the love and support. So thank you. Good night, everyone. You'll have a great one. It was truly a blessing. Much love, always.